The COVID pandemic has been extraordinarily difficult for many first responders, especially for emergency medical services or EMS teams.
Yeah, imagine this. You're in an emergency and you dial 911, but no one shows up to help. EMS personnel in Iowa say that could happen if they don't get the support they need very soon.
Now, in the first of a four-part series, we explore the challenges facing rural EMS departments across north central Iowa. ABC 6 News reporter Brett Backley and photojournalist Brian Weiss takes us inside the lives of these EMS teams.
911 emergency.
The number of calls coming in daily to dispatch centers across North Iowa have steadily increased over the last couple of decades.
I've been in this close to 30 years and there is nothing that has rivaled what happened last year.
But that changed once a deadly virus took over our lives.
The ambulances didn't hardly roll.
This past year, paramedics like Dale Rayhone responded to fewer and fewer calls. He says people began putting the phone down during the pandemic because they were fearful.
People weren't seeking the care in ER because they were afraid that they would catch COVID in ER, or if the symptoms that they were having they felt didn't warrant going to a hospital.
First responders say it was a frightening time for them as well. While 911 calls were down, transports of infected individuals were rising.
When COVID struck, we were just as scared as everyone else was. You know, how do we keep our staff safe? How do we protect the community while we protect our crews?
The pandemic definitely affected our service because of the volume of calls that we had due to patients with COVID or interfacility transfers with patients on ventilators.
The Mason City Fire Department covers about 800 square miles of North Iowa. With mutual aid contracts in several smaller communities, Deputy Chief of EMS Carl GINAPP says they are responding to more calls, but crews remain challenged.
Depending on call volume, we can be stretched a little bit thin at times.
Despite the new legislation that Governor Reynolds signed, EMS is still not considered an essential service in Iowa. The legislation allows each county in Iowa to approve a declaration to make EMS essential, which means it's still not guaranteed the next time you call 911 that anyone will show up.
That safety net is getting stretched to the point where it can no longer absorb that. So we need to find a way to sustainably fund our EMS services so that they can stay in business and provide the care that people need in an emergency.
EMS advocates say the system can support itself, but still needs substantial support to stay in business due to the lack of funding and volunteers.
Because of the aging population of Iowa and of Mason City, because of the baby boomer population, we are just going to see it continually rising in the area and across the state.
We've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly from COVID. And I'm just hoping that it's going away soon.
Brett Backley, ABC 6 News.